Happy Tuesday.
Oh, don't you dare look back, just keep your eyes on me. I said you're holding back. She said shut up and dance with me. This woman is my destiny. She said ooh.
Welcome to Knit Sense episode 17. My name is Jan. You can find me as Jan Ellen RN on Ravelry, on Instagram, on Twitter, on Facebook, and pretty much everywhere as Jan Ellen RN. Let's see. It's been kind of a little bit of a crazy week here in the New York area. I'm sure if you watch the news, you know. But other than that, it's been relatively quiet here at Shea Knit Sense. So we're going to go with that. That's two pretty relatively quiet weeks in a row. So that's good. I hope you are all doing well, and I hope everyone is enjoying that last bit of summer. I think tomorrow is the fall equinox. I think at 10 something in the morning. And here in the New York area, our temperatures will be soaring in the 80s with high humidity. So I don't know, fall seems to be nowhere in the nearby for this area. But that's okay. This week we have some knitting. I have a finished object, and I have some stash enhancement, but it's all sort of intertwined with what I'm working on and what I'm doing at the moment. So we're gonna just combine it all together. And I also have some Scentsy stuff. So let's get started. I cast on two new projects. I finished with my whip wrangling phase, and I did get some of the whips done. Last week I finished the Brioche Bandito, and I did finish something else this week, which I will show you. And I started two new projects. So let's start with those. The first one is the Ducenti. I found out I was saying Ducenti, and it is not. The proper pronunciation is Ducenti. And it is the Ducenti Mystery Knit-Along by Laura Nelkin. It is the fourth and last knit-along from the M Club 2016. M Club 2017 spots are open now. They are available. So if you are interested, I will put a link below. You can click on that and look into that. But that's the first thing that I did cast on. And it is a mystery knit along, so I can't show you what it will be or a picture of it because I don't have it and none of us know. But I will see if I can pull up. This is the Ravelry page for it. Again, I'm going to have all kind of glare problems. There we go. Now, again, and I mentioned this before, because this is the mystery knit along and not one of the exclusive projects. If you are interested in doing this, you can join the knit along at any time. The pattern is $7, and there are all kinds of suggestions of what yarn and what beads you can choose. There's a lot of information in the Nelkin forum, which I will also link below. To help you choose. There are spoiler pictures, so you can see there are many people that are not using the club yarn that have chosen their own yarn and beads. You can also absolutely do this without beads if you're not familiar with it, with beading. If you don't like to bead, that's fine. It will still work perfectly. All of Laura's designs are chosen to work either with or without the beads, so that's good if you're not happy with working with it. But what I will say is that each of the patterns comes with unbelievable tutorials, and many of the tutorials are specific to the pattern itself. So if you look at one of the tutorials in this pattern, you can get sort of an idea of what it's going to start to look like. Not what it's going to be, but what it's going to start to look like. So if you are working on the mystery knit along, or if you did buy the pattern, if you're part of the club and you haven't started yet, or you don't want a spoiler, here is a spoiler alert, because I am going to show you what I've done so far. So spoiler alert, you're not looking, right? Okay. One of the things I forgot to show when I did get the kit, I did show the yarn and the beads that came with the kit. And the other thing that Laura had sent with the kit was this bag. When you join the M Club, she sends you, for each of the mystery knit-alongs, or each of the knit-alongs, she sends you the yarn, the beads, usually some candy, and a goodie, a little goodie. And it's not always a little. She sends some really, really, really amazing things. And this one was really, really special. She sent us each an M Club tote bag. So my project is in here. And like I said, I'm going to kind of combine my enabling along with everything else, because I'm kind of using what I got. But when I was at my local yarn store this week, I picked up, ow, that really hurt. I picked up, there's a set of 3. I'm not using the larger one, so that's upstairs, but it's just a slightly larger version of these. Della came out with these mesh bags, and this is the medium-sized one. This is the small one, which makes a perfect notions bag, but I'm going to tell you what I did with this one. And the larger one, I would say, is probably a great size absolutely for socks or for a small shawl project. It would be great for that. What I'm using these for is I blatantly stole my friend's idea, and the small one I'm using for that, except that I don't know what I did with the bracelet. I really am, I'm a hot mess. I should have looked all into this beforehand. Well, anyway, it's that slap bracelet with the magnet on it. And what I'm doing is I'm using this small pouch for all of the little gadgets that I got to, I opened this upside down. This is going to be another one of those blooper reel episodes. But anyway, all of these things that you can purchase with it, all stick on to the little magnetic piece that's on that slap bracelet thing, which is a wonderful idea. And what I did pick up while I was at the yarn store are these scissors. And I'm thinking, how are these scissors, I don't want to just stick them on the end here. Well, as it turns out, the whole scissor just slaps on. So that's a neat thing, but you don't really want to keep it on there and have the scissor hanging off. So, that's all in this little pouch here. That's what I'm using one of them for. And the other one is I'm just using as a notions pouch. It has all of my beading stuff in there. I also they sell these stitch markers, which are really cute. They're called flutes. And they're actually, if you're familiar, the elastic hairbands, that's kind of the fabric that they're made of, but the shape of the stitch marker is actually in the shape of a stitch. So they fit really well on the needle, and the stitches don't have a tendency to climb over them as much as they do with the thinner little stitch markers. So we got those, that's thrown in here. Okay, enough blabbering about all of that. We're on to it. I guess if you don't want to be spoiled, you're already gone because I talk too much. Oh, and look what I found as I'm dumping everything on the floor. Gosh, this is what I was talking about with the slap bracelet. So right now I have all of my stitch markers stuck on there. All right, here we go. Ducenti. I am using the 2 colors that came with the kit. I'm falling apart today. Obviously I see that. I'm falling apart. What it started with so far, what we've done, is to cast on some 300 and something stitches. So that's what this long snake thing is here. And now what we're doing is putting I-cord, again, please excuse these nails. We are putting a beaded I-cord, which looks like this, all the way the length of the 303, I think it is, stitches. So that should be fun. That should take some time, but it's actually pretty quick. It's fun to do. And Laura has a very, very good tutorial on how to do this. But once we're finished and once you've done all of the I-cord, then we're going to make these eyes, is what she's calling them, which is basically scallops with short rows in the main color. Okay, so the I-cord here, the beaded I-cord, is in the contrast color here, and the eyes, which will be these scallops, will be in this contrast color. When those are done, then we're going to put I-cord back on the other side of them. I've seen some pictures of them. It's so pretty. It really looks pretty. I can't imagine what this is going to be. But so far, it really, really looks very nice. It's very easy. It's enjoyable to knit on. I'm not sure if there's any further beading in this project, but the beading so far is done with you can use a crochet hook. If you're familiar with a Beadle Needle, or a Flegel beater is the other one. And I have both of them here, so I'm just going to show you. All right, guys, there is nothing out there. There's nothing for this dog to bark at. Come here. Come here. Okay. You can use a regular crochet hook, or what I'm using, if you're not familiar with it, is this I think is the Beadle Needle. They both work exactly the same. You can preload them with the beads. So as opposed to a crochet hook where you have to keep going in and picking them up, this just makes it a little easier, especially if you're going to be taking this with you and beading somewhere else. There are little stoppers on the bottom, and it is curved. The bottom of the needle is curved, so if you use a bead spinner to load up your needle thing, you can use a bead spinner to load them up. I find it's not worth dragging the thing out. There's not that many. And what it is, if I can get close enough here, I think you can see that. There is a tiny hook right there. You can see that. And what you do is when you go to put the bead in, you slip this into the stitch, you put the bead, the hook will hold the stitch, you pop the bead over the stitch, turn this, slide it out, and you've got your stitch beaded. And you're already preloaded, so you're all ready to go. So that's just my tip. I actually found the Flegel beater before Laura had mentioned the Beadle Needle, which I actually do prefer. I think the Beadle Needle is longer, so it holds more beads on it. And I think the crochet part is a little, I want to say, I don't even know if it's deeper or if it's not as sharp, but for some reason it doesn't have the tendency to split the yarn that the other one does. So that's two good ideas for beading and also for doing quick I-cord. I've been using the 300 stitches are on the long regular fixed needle, and I've been using just a single double point needle to put my beads on and to do my I-cord. So that is my first project. That is Ducenti that I cast on. I am enjoying knitting that. Jazz hands, we're all done. Put that back. And we're on to the second thing I cast on. I was going to cast on the Fezza. I had shown it a couple of times, the tassel poncho. And I don't know, I had a lot of trouble winding yarn this week. It was a nightmare. And it was 4 skeins, and the thought of just going near that pole winder and that thing again, 1 skein literally took me 2.5 hours. It was such a hot mess to wind. So I started thinking, what do I have that's already wound? And I remembered when I was in Nashville, I had visited House of Yarn, and I had gotten yarn for two projects there. One they wound in the store, and the other one wasn't wound, so guess which one I went with. And the project that I'm going to use is the one that I saw in the store, and it's not even my usual, something I would usually gravitate towards, but I saw this project and I absolutely fell in love with it. It's called Hop Brook. I will link it below. It is a shawl by Bonnie Senot. This is what it looks like here. Okay, so it's like a crescent shaped shawl. It's not a huge one. And the one that was knit in the store is actually, if you go to the projects, the number of projects that were done, it pops up on the top. It was knit by Joe Strong, who does a lot of the knitting for the samples for House of Yarn. This is hers. This is the one that I saw in the store, and I decided to knit it out of the same yarn in that color because it was beautiful. So she used Brooklyn Tweed Loft. It takes 2 skeins. That is what I am using. One other thing that did come this week is Ravelry had gotten a restock on their tote bags. If they have any left, and if you are just, you know, a bag freak like I am, you should get this one. This thing is huge. It will hold several projects. It's very heavy. It's nice and sturdy. It has this outside pocket. What I like about it, 2 things. The handles are sewn right at the top, so you don't have that thick on your shoulder. It makes it thinner. I love that it snaps closed. This is New York after all. We do like to close our bags. Does have an inside pocket that zips, which is great. And inside this is my, what else do I have in here? I think that's it. Is my Hop Brook. And that is in a bag by Amy Beth from The Fat Squirrel Speaks. I absolutely love her bags. I'm sure you all know. This is a bag, I don't think I had shown this before, that I did get when I was down at SSK. This is the first time I'm using it, so that's exciting too. And I am knitting this out of, oh gosh, you know, I don't think they gave me the labels. I'm going to have to look up, and if I find the information, I will link it below. It's Brooklyn Tweed Loft, but I don't know the colorway. I didn't get too far. I just cast this on last night. This is the right side. I actually, when I looked at it, thought it was cabled, and it's not. You start it at, let's see, literally at the bottom here. So I think you cast on 3 or 4 stitches, something to that effect. And what it is, these are clusters. It's a cluster stitch. Very, very, very simple to do. And then you basically do the setup, which is 24 rows. And then you get into what's called the Hop Brook pattern, which I haven't gotten into yet. I'm still, I think I'm on like row 16 or 17 of the setup section. But the yarn, and I know in the past, I had worked with this once before, this yarn. And I know I have seen several complaints or several people that had issues with this yarn coming apart, with this yarn being very fragile. And I just want to point out that the yarn, this particular yarn is spun woolen. And if you're a spinner, you know what that means. But if you don't spin, basically woolen spun yarn is a different preparation than a worsted yarn, and you can usually tell because a worsted yarn will feel a little more solid, it will have more shine, it will be more dense. A woolen spun yarn will be lighter, it will be airier, it will hold in warmth more, so it's great for items that you want to be warm, but it is a little bit more fragile than a worsted spun yarn. And I'm not talking about weight here, like a worsted weight. I'm talking about the preparation of the yarn and the way that it's spun. So as far as I know, the Brooklyn Tweed Loft is woolen spun. And that just means that if you pull hard enough, you can pull it apart. It's not a defect in the yarn. It's nothing wrong with the yarn. The yarn will wear very well. What ends up happening is that as you wash it, it begins to almost felt to itself, which gives it the fluffy and the texture and the bit of halo that you want in the garment when you choose to use a woolen spun yarn. So don't be scared off it by the fact that people have said that it is more fragile or it tends to come apart. If you're not yanking on it or tugging on it or abusing it in any way, it is very sturdy yarn. It will hold up. Again, like I said, it will tend to felt to itself and holds. That's really how you prep a woolen yarn, is a woolen spun yarn, is really when you wash it, you really kind of like beat the out of it to get it to felt, and that's what really gives it its structure. So all of that is a little spinning tip and a yarn preparation tip. But at any rate, I did start it. I'm enjoying knitting on it. It is really kind of good to be doing something new. It's kind of helping me to get my knitting mojo back. I was sort of losing it a bit there, but that is the second project that I am working on, and that's really it for works in progress. I am still working on my Botanica. I have every intention of finishing that one every time. Every time. I can count on her squeaking her little dinosaur. Emmy, come here. Emmy, come here. You want to come up? You want to come say hi? Do you want? Oh, I think people should see the little devil dog, the little hot dog making all that noise. Say hi, Emmy. Say hi, Emmy. This is my little Doxy, Emmy, and she is an absolute sweetheart. I love her to pieces, and this dog can get into more trouble in the space of a flash than you can possibly shake a stick at. But even the vet said the cuteness factor just outweighs sort of any trouble she gets into. So that's my Emmy. Okay. Now, go find something that doesn't make noise. Yeah, go harangue your brother. Okay, onwards to my finished object. And I have to say, I'm really, really, really not only proud of this, but proud that I actually finished it. I did finish my peachy shawl. I haven't woven in the ends. I have not blocked it, but I did finish it. It's so big, it's kind of hard to show. I'm not sure. I had not started the border, I don't think, before, and I thought I brought down, and probably one of the dogs was playing with it, the teeny tiny bit of yarn that I had left. Well, I don't know. It's probably a dog toy now. But I ended up running out of this light color on the top here. I ran out of that on the very, very last row that I needed it. So what I did was I used, and I think you can almost see where. Isn't that weird? You really can. Well, the very, very last row of these two colors here on this middle section. So I had a solid cream colored yarn, and I used it for the remainder of the row. And then this bottom section here was done with the dark color and then the contrast color. For that section. And then the whole thing was bound off with an I-cord bind off. Now, I've done them before. I don't remember it ever being this simple. It just was so simple to bind off. And what I did find unusual, and let's see if I can figure out which end it was, that the end of the I-cord bind off was actually Kitchener closed, as opposed to just sort of bound off. And not only did I find that unusual, I can't even tell which side. That looks like the beginning side. So I guess it was the other side. I guess it was the other side. To me, I don't know if you can actually see that. It made such a neat ending. Instead of just binding off those 3 stitches and having that bind off sit there, you actually left the last 3 live stitches, and you had the 3 from the last I-cord. Turn the needle, Kitchenered the 3 stitches, and it worked perfectly. So I'm gonna stand up here because this thing is big, and like I said, I have not even blocked it yet. Now, there isn't a right side and a wrong side really. What there is a dark side and a light side. This is the light side, okay? And you can see in that center brioche part that the stockinette stitch, the knit stitch running up the center, is the lighter color. When I turn it around on the dark side, it's exactly the opposite. And you can see that that knit stitch is, and you can see it better even down here, is the darker yarn. So you can wear it on either side. You can wear it, you know, whichever way you like, but I can tell you that this is very large. And again, like I said, I have not blocked it. I will block it because I think the ends, the edges are going to need to sort of just be shaped a little bit from, you know, like just to get out a little bit of the puckering from the I-cord, because the whole thing was done with an attached I-cord edging on the inside, and then you bound off with an I-cord edging. So essentially the entire shawl is shaped with I-cord, which I really, really like. So that's how it came out. That is my peachy shawl. These are absolutely not only not my colors, these are not even colors I would gravitate towards, but I'm actually really enjoying the way it came out. I actually do think I will likely wear this a lot this winter. So that was a really fun knit. Because it's brioche and because each row of this takes 2 passes, it is a time-consuming effort, that I will say. Normally, you know, a shawl this size, especially when it's mostly garter, isn't going to take you all that long, but consider that each row you're going twice. So that's what made it take a little bit longer, but I enjoyed it. I love doing brioche. I love the effect of it. And I'm so glad this is finished, and I think I'm going to take a break from large projects for a while. So that's my finished object. And I think that's about all I have for knitting. I actually did do a little bit of spinning. I didn't take the bobbin off because it's the same thing I've been working on. So maybe if I continue on that trend, hopefully I will have at least a bobbin of singles to show you next week before I Navajo ply it. It's Knitting in Color fiber that I had been spinning up. I have had problems. It's on my Sidekick, and I had a very weird problem. A piece on the inside of the wheel, pulley actually, came off, and there's no way other than to try to stick in, well, you don't need to know all the details, but the bottom line is it's very hard to get it back on without taking the entire wheel apart. So I've done a little bit of surgery on that, and I got it back up and running, so hopefully, excuse me, that will hold together long enough for me to get this skein off. It's not that I don't have other wheels that I could move it over to. I really want to get this stuff. So having said that, we're going to move on to Scentsy. There's a little bit of a war going on over there. Guys. Yeah, you got to stop that. Thank you. So we're going to go on to Scentsy. Just a reminder, it is still September, so we still have available our September warmer and fragrance of the month, which is this Hocus Pocus warmer. It is a cauldron that is on firewood, with a wire spun, hand done, handcrafted tree, all done in wire, with a wire wrapped spider web with a spider in the center. It is a very large piece. I wonder if they give the dimensions. I don't have it on here. But it is a significant sized piece. And the fragrance of the month is Casting Spells, which I think I'm down to my last bar. I think this is all that I have left. I've really, really, really enjoyed this fragrance for the beginnings of fall. It is a spiced pear. I don't know if it's a spiced, well, it's got cinnamon in it. It's, let's see what they say. I always take their word in the mind. Bewitching blend of apple drizzle, roasted pears, and cinnamon bark. And I really enjoyed this. It is a very clean fruit, a little spiced fruit smell is what I would say. It's a spiced fruit fragrance. A little bit on the sweet side, but definitely nothing sweet. So I have really, really, really been enjoying this. Again, this is on sale, this fragrance and the room spray, the scent circles, all of that, 10% off for the month of September. And the same goes for the warmer, which is also 10% off for the month of September. And then we will be moving on to October, which I'm not going to go too much into because it is still early and it is still September. But if you are really observant, you can get a glimpse of the October warmer. I just got mine today. That will be available starting October 1st. And just judging by the comments that people have been making on it and the response to it, I know this one is going to be a very, very popular one. It is a 3-piece element warmer. Like I said, I just literally got the box before I sat down to record, so I haven't gone through my paperwork yet, so I don't really have the price point, but it is an element warmer, which means that it does not light up. It just is 3 stacked pumpkins. So there's your hint, there's your little tip. If you are interested, I will take pre-orders. I will open a thread on the forum for pre-orders. Again, remember that they will not be available until October 1st. So if you are interested in making sure that you get yours, if you want to pre-order it, I will open a thread on Ravelry, let me know. And if we get enough pre-orders to put them in as a party, then what I will do is I will put all the orders together and put them in on October 1st. And if you host, I'm not sure if you're aware, and I will probably go into this on the next podcast. I don't want this one to run too long. But if you host a party, you are entitled to host rewards. You get half-priced items, you get free items. So if we do get enough pre-orders to qualify as a party, which would mean a total of $200 in orders, what I will do is I will then host a random number generator, and for everybody who has submitted an order, I will enter your number, and one winner will be the winner of whatever host rewards are available from the pre-orders. So I hope that made any sense. Again, I will explain it in a thread in the in our Ravelry group, but that will be the October warmer. If you are interested, if you want to put in a pre-order, post in that forum, let me know. I will work it out with you. But the other thing that I'm really excited about that I want to show you is I did order 2 of the warmers from the new catalog, and I have been so good. I did not even open them yet. I did not. I wanted to open them right here. Why does something always fall? All right, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to sit here and I'm going to hold that. It's the end of my extension cord. The first one, and the new boxes, they're actually not new. They came out last year, but the boxes now from Scentsy have a picture of the warmer that's inside. And that may not seem important, I certainly was like, oh, okay, so, you know, I mean, pretty much you know what you ordered. I mean, why does it, you know, why is it important? And then I realized I saved the boxes and I changed my warmers out a lot. I changed them seasonally. I changed them if I want a different look. And oh boy, when you go to pack your warmer back up again, it makes a big difference that you know exactly which box instead of trying to fit it into some box and saying it's not this one, it's not that one. So just so you know, the boxes do have a picture and the name of the warmer on them. And this one is the English breakfast warmer. I am going to unpack it right now. And this is the saucer, and this would be where you're going to put your wax. Okay, gosh, I absolutely just loved this warmer. I saw this and I had to get it. And this is the base. This again is an element warmer, which means that it will not light up. So I guess there's really no point in my plugging it in. But that's what it looks like. And when you do plug it in, the way that you know that these are on, because again, these just sit. An element warmer does not have a light bulb. It's operated by a hot, literally this heating plate. And again, I know I haven't said it in a while, so I knew that cord was going to go again. I just wanted to remind everybody that the whole purpose of the wax and warmers of Scentsy is safety. I know I have had, not my own personal experience, but I have been witness to tragedy from candles being burned in the home. And I have also seen where other brands of warmers and other cubes of wax require too high of a temperature to actually melt the wax, and the wax can burn. You can get burned. That will not happen with Scentsy. I used to put my warmers and things, plugs, and whatever I was using into the freezer to have to get the wax out. I don't have to do that anymore with Scentsy. I even take the hot wax and pour it right into the garbage pail. I've gotten it on my hands. It's warm, that's it. This heats to the same temperature. If you were to go into a salon and get like a paraffin hand treatment, that's the same thing. It is totally safe. If a child, if a baby were to accidentally spill the wax on them, a pet knocked it over, it is not going to start a fire. The pet, the child, they're not going to get burned. This does not get hot enough. The hot plate itself, when it's plugged in, it is warm, but you will not get burned if you touch it. And I think the highest wattage light bulb that we use is a 25 watt bulb. So again, it would get warm, but it would not cause a serious burn if for some reason you decided to stick your hand on the light bulb. Anyway, this is called English breakfast. And what I was saying is that because the element warmers, which are the warmers with the plates, not the light bulbs, don't have lights to tell you that it's on, there is a red light right here. And when it's plugged in, and I guess I can just try to, let's put this down, I'm too much of a klutz. Plug this in. There we go. And every one of our warmers, even the only ones that don't have, my neighbor is mowing his lawn. Is there ever time here? Is there noise? Come here. Come on. Oh, good boy. You don't bark at that. Come on, Cole. Good boy. Okay, so there is your red light. And when you switch it on, you can see that the light comes on. So that's how you would know that the burner is on. I leave mine on, sometimes 24/7. I have a lot of my Scentsy warmers on timers so that they go on in the late morning, they go off in the early evening. I don't have to worry about turning them on and off. But if they do get left on, the one in my bedroom sometimes gets left on, I just forget about it. It's fine. It's not going to smell like burnt wax. It is not going to do any damage. It is not going to cause any harm. So this one is English breakfast. And that one will likely go into my dining room. Okay. And the other one that I ordered, which I'm super excited to see what it looks like, because this just was so, so cute in the catalog, is called Morning Toast. And again, I will show you that on the front. I think this one also is an element warmer. In fact, I'm almost sure. Okay. Here's the top. And the holes are where your fragrance would come out. And there's your two little slices of bread. Colby, you have to stop. This is just super cute. Now this, I'm gonna say I'm a little confused on this one because I don't see. Okay, this is an element warmer. The element is actually inside. So let's plug this in. Plug this puppy in. Yes. So here is where you would put your wax. Right in here. There is no hot plate. That is all inside of this. And here is the light that will come on when you turn the warmer on. Holby, stop, please. So there you go. And then you would just pop this on the top. And that's what it looks like. And for a kitchen, I think this is just so charming. I love the retro. And I'm not done with that retro page. There is a pair of retro roller skates. There is a retro motor scooter. I don't think I'm done on that page yet. But here's your lever for your toast. Here's your toast setting. I just think this is so, so, so cute. So these are just two I wanted to show of the new warmers from the new catalog, the fall winter catalog, which is out now. So again, if you want to put in you can order these now on the website, and I will put the website down below. I will also link it in the description bar below. So if you want to order any of these now, they are available. If you want to pre-order them and be part of our mystery party give-along, party host rewards give-along, that's fine. Just put a comment in the thread that I'm going to open, and I will hold your order and submit it if we get enough orders by the 1st of October. So I think that's pretty much all I have for today. It's starting to get a little sunny outside, which probably means I should go out. It's been pouring for 2 days here. So it probably means I should go out and get some stuff done for the rest of the day, and then come home and work on my knitting. So I hope you all have a very good week. I hope you are knitting on things that are making you happy. Life is too short to knit on stuff that you just don't like. And I'm at that point. If you don't like it, frog it. And while you're doing that, in the meantime, remember, as always, to knit with sense.